Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Yo, let's get going through, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world. Welcome on in back again, once again, to the Sports Buffoon Studios here out of Lenexa, Kansas, of course. We got the full clan with us today. We got JG to my right and Tanner Dawson there in a little square off a little further. So what's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Hey, man, I've never been better, man. I've never been better. Just watching all these free agency moves going on in the NFL. And, it makes me hard every once in a while.
Oh, man. I tell people all the time, I wear my Chiefs stuff pretty much every day. And, they ask me when I'm going to give it up. And it's like football season never ends in my life. Because, as soon as the Super Bowl happens, we have the combine, we have draft prospects, we have, the new league year began today officially. And, we had the tampering period up until this point. But, after this, then we got the draft in April. And then we got mini camps and everything else. I mean, it's like football never really ends in my life. But, I'm glad you guys got other stuff going on, too. I'm glad Tanner's got his March Madness and you got your NBA at least.
The NFL is copying off of the NBA model, which is that the league year never ends.
Yeah.
And I think that the NFL is actually approaching that model that the NBA has used for so long, which is like it just basically lasts forever. So, and I appreciate that about the NFL. So.
No,
it's great.
Keeps me entertained, and I'm looking forward to baseball season too, of course. But, anyways, yeah, man, there's lots to talk about today. Today, here we are in the middle of March, and it's going to be a lot of football talk today, a lot of Chiefs talk, draft prospects here in a few minutes. Trip McDuffie got traded since the last time we were on this show. But Tanner, what you up to, man? How's it going?
It's good, man. World Baseball Classic's going on. Seeing if USA advances here. Vinny hitting 3 bombs, Gags, had 2 yesterday. So we're just seeing if USA's manager isn't dumb enough and can finally make it into the quarterfinals here after a dumb move yesterday, not knowing the rules. But other than that, Big 12 tournament started. A lot of the tournaments have started conference-wise. So watching those wrap up and getting ready for Selection Sunday, man.
Yeah, it kind of seems like you mentioned Jack Caglione there. I mean, I know it's still early, season hasn't even began yet, but seems like things are kind of starting to click a little bit for him now. But I don't know. We'll figure out more as we go.
Hard. He hits that ball freaking hard, man.
It's a matter of where he's placed, and is he being more patient at the plate compared to last year where he was swinging at everything?
I mean, he looks good in the World Baseball Classic, so I like his approach already. So hopefully that continues.
I think that's a big one. If the Royals can get him figured out, man, it's going to be a fun season because that guy is going to do some damage. And the fences got moved in at Kauffman, so we're going to be seeing lots of bombs out there at Kauffman. And I hope that's not foreshadowing for something really negative. I really mean that in a very positive way. So, although when we face teams like the Dodgers and so on, I mean, it's going to be tough because there's just a little fly ball is going to be going over the fence now.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's going to be, right? Just make contact, put it in the air. That's what teams are going to do.
Game's fun, though. I mean, we'll see a lot of home runs now.
Tanner, do you have the numbers on those? Like what's the footage of how far they moved it in?
15 feet and lowered the fence 1.5 feet. So it's also shorter.
So is that like the old Metrodome or the Kingdome in Seattle where you just hit a fly ball, or is it not quite that bad?
It's not as bad as the Baltimore Orioles stadium, but it's definitely a major difference. But yeah, it was moved in 15 feet, and like I said, the fence also got moved down to 1.5 feet. So that's also a big deal.
So does that mean that our pitchers? Does that mean our pitching is going to suck now because they're just going to be jacking bombs everywhere?
If you're a fly ball pitcher, I mean, you might have a hard time with that situation.
Because I feel like the whole time we've been sitting here in the offseason saying, oh, the Royals pitching is going to be fantastic. Well,
it's going to be hard
to tell about that,
hard
dude.
to tell, though.
Not so sure
so your fence adjustments, right? So they moved 8 to 10 feet in most areas. Your power alley, so left and right center, went from 387 to 389 to 379. Your corners went into 344. That's like
Wow.
little league shit right there.
344.
Center field is unchanged at 410. So that remains dead center,
So the
remains
corners
deep.
got moved in, then is what you're saying.
So yeah,
Oh,
so they
I
moved
didn't
in
realize that.
the corner area, but dead center is still 410.
Oh
I'm
my
just
gosh.
telling you,
So the
dude.
corners are really got what moved in the most.
Houston. It almost feels like a Houston in my mind kind of
Dang,
setup.
that's crazy.
I'm
I
just
didn't
telling you,
realize that
dude.
part.
Like they've been building that narrative since the end of last year. Is that the Royals are, the Royals are going to have good pitching this year. So
And
just we got to tread
starting
lightly
pitching.
on that.
Yeah, starting pitching is
I
okay.
mean,
You talked
maybe
about
it
the
is,
height?
maybe it isn't.
They went from 10 feet to 8.5.
Yep.
Up to 18 inches shorter in certain spots. But they're adding 150 new seats in left field, 80 drink rail seats in right field to use up that space. And just to take note too, the Royals did something similar back in 1995 where they moved 10 feet. They moved 10 feet in and height to 9 feet. But then they reverted that back in 2004. So they've done this in the past on the stadium, obviously leading to the new stadium change. This was a move to sell tickets, like Mike said, to make things more exciting for the casual fan,
Right.
and kind of go about it. So this is
Well,
that's part of that move.
the bottom line is that I've heard that the new hitting coach is so good, so incredibly good that you're not actually going to need that good of pitchers on this team. Like, because we're going to just be hitting the cover off the ball.
We're gonna have some bombers on this team.
Yeah, I can't wait to win a game 9-8.
Hey, it's gonna be interesting, man. As a Royals fan for the majority of our lifetime has been a pretty crappy experience, other than a couple years, right? And so I don't know. I feel like this year we got something really exciting to look forward to, and it's a difference. And we got some guys on this team that can hit bombs. We see Pasquantino, as you said to begin the show, hit 3 home runs today. Jack Caglianone's coming along. Bobby Witt Jr. is probably going to hit 35 home runs or so.
Bobby Witt out here with the ESPN play in the World Classic yesterday or the day before. Yeah. Insane play at shortstop. So,
oh yeah, no, there's some fun things on the horizon there, and I think opening day is in like 2.5 weeks, right?
Yep, you're right.
All right.
Oh, gosh, man, we're right around the corner. It's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, anyways, we're not here to talk Royals all day because we got a lot of football to talk about. So the last time we were on here, Trent McDuffie was still a Chief, and he, along with Jalen Watson, are both Rams now. And I can understand why Watson was so excited actually about this idea of signing that big contract, 3 years, $51 million, to go to the LA Rams, because he got to be back with his buddy, back with his partner in crime, with McDuffie. So, and the way I see it, I think with the way the Rams are doing this, McDuffie will play a lot of nickel. Actually, I'm kind of surprised, but they paid him a huge contract, and the main concern was like, okay, he's not an outside corner. Well, maybe the Rams don't care. The Rams are like, well, you're great in the slot, and in today's league, being a great nickel is important, and so they don't give a damn, and they don't care. And as they said before, F them picks. And so, they don't care about those picks. The Chiefs now have pick number 29 in this year's draft. So we have 2 picks in the first round, which is why you guys will see in a little bit. We have 3 prospects to talk about. One of them is a late first round draft prospect that we brought up. TJ Parker will be one that we'll talk about and break down a little bit here in a few. But, with this whole McDuffie thing going on, he was a part of 2 Super Bowls for the Chiefs. And, a really, really good player for this organization. But it got a lot of people, I don't know if they're prisoner of the moment or if they're just forgetting about the past as Chiefs fans, or maybe they're so new to this organization as fans that they don't remember some of the great ones we had along the way. But some people were saying McDuffie was a top 5 cornerback all time in Chiefs history, which is something for me I absolutely disagree with. And I understand he was on some really great Chiefs teams, obviously 3 of them, as a matter of fact. They went to Super Bowls. But man, you can't ignore some of the historic, incredible players we've had along the way at cornerback. And not to take anything away from McDuffie and his really, really solid impact he made in Kansas City as a player, but we've had some better ones along the way, in my opinion, by far. I've got 5 that I came up with, at least. There's probably another couple I could even throw out there. But as far as cornerbacks in Chiefs history, that's off the top of my head. Albert Lewis, absolutely should be in the mix. Emmett Thomas, Now, I never watched
You're
Emmett
going
Thomas.
back. You're going back.
I know, but here's the thing. Emmett Thomas had like 58 picks in his career. I mean, I'm not going to argue against that number right there. And he was also a big part of the elite secondary we had for the Chiefs during the Super Bowl in the 1969 season. So Albert Lewis, Emmett Thomas, James Hasty, 100% to me was a better cornerback for the Chiefs than what McDuffie provided. Dale Carter as well, who played with James Hasty. And then I also have the one that is kind of controversial. I actually think Brandon Flowers was a better cornerback for the Chiefs than Trent McDuffie. And I do have some numbers to prove that. But guys, what do you think about this narrative? And where would you rank McDuffie in your all-time Chiefs cornerback listing?
The narrative is BS. Let's just get that right out the way. The Chiefs were founded in 1959. Inaugural season was 1960. So the Chiefs have been in operation for 65 years. So if I tell you that Trent McDuffie is not a top 5 corner in Chiefs history, please don't take that to mean that he sucks. Okay? If I put him in the top 10, Chiefs have been around for 65 freaking years. Okay? He doesn't suck. He's amazing. Like if I put him in the top 10, he's awesome. Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I put him just slightly outside the top 5. But again, let's not be a prisoner of the moment. I look at a guy like Marcus Peters, and I know that he was kind of a boneheaded player in terms of his personal life. But you know, I could put a Marcus Peters. Trent McDuffie. I think he was.
I don't know if that's me or not. All right. So, it's official. The boys are frozen at the moment. Don't know what's happening over there. I'm in my own world. All right. Well, this is fun. That's what I get for not being over there.
You're talking about Bam Adebayo.
You coming back? You coming back?
Are we back on?
You got blurry, but I see you. You're there.
Back on. I saw something happen there for a second. I don't know what was missed or what was not heard, but we good now?
You're back. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. It's clearing up. It's clearing up.
Okay, I hope we're good. Anyways, I don't know what was missed.
Must be that amazing signal that you've got out there in Gardner, Kansas.
I don't think it's mine, but good try.
I don't know whose it is. I don't know.
It's always Lenexa, right? We always talk about the Lenexa cops, man. Maybe it's the Lenexa cops' fault. I don't know.
Anyways, the conversation was about
getting your signal, jamming your signal.
I'll let you, since I don't know what was missed or what was not heard. Go ahead with.
I didn't get all of Jason.
I think that, like, in terms of the total impact as a player, and I'm not necessarily saying as far as what they did on the Chiefs, but I think in terms of their talent level, I think that Trent McDuffie and Marcus Peters could bring about the same to the table, although they had entirely different skill sets.
Well,
I think that they could bring the exact same skill set to the game of football.
What I'm describing when I talk about my top 5 is what they did for the Chiefs.
Okay.
And their impact for the Chiefs.
Then I'll give you Trent McDuffie then. He was ahead of Marcus Peters for sure.
Yeah, and because otherwise you could sit there and say Ty Law and Darrelle Revis. You know, if we're going to talk about as best corners of all time for the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys, you know, they only played.
Well, but to that point, though, those two were completely washed.
I know,
but like Marcus Peters was not washed on the Chiefs.
What was the impact for the Chiefs? And McDuffie's impact was huge because of what he did in the playoffs and so on.
No, I totally agree with you.
I still think that there was better players. He's not in my top 5, though. He's in my top 7.
I just want to get past this whole narrative that if you're not in the top 5, you suck. Like that's LeBron James versus Jordan freaking argument. And I think if you're like the Kansas City Chiefs, you've been around since 1960. Like if we say that you're the number 6 corner of all time in the Chiefs or number 7, whatever, doesn't mean that you suck. And I think that just it's like you were saying earlier, we need to stop being a prisoner of the moment and just have some appreciation for all the other corners that were a part of this team over the years.
Yeah, I agree. Tanner, what's your thoughts on McDuffie's placement in Chiefs history?
I think you nailed it, Mike. I mean, I didn't go quite back that far, but like just in the last 20 years since 05, you know, I mean, he did. You know, going back to 05 here, I can count at least 3 guys, including Brandon Flowers, that had I felt a bigger impact on the Chiefs team that they played on during that time than McDuffie. And don't get me wrong, I think McDuffie played well. I thought he played really well. He was, he played where his strength was, which was in the smaller guys. But when he had to go outside against George Pickens, a CD, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, he just got owned by them every single time, right? And that was the downfall. I mean, you can make a case here for a couple of these guys, right? L'Jarius Sneed, I thought was better. I thought Marcus Peters was better outside of his tackling.
To your point about Sneed real quick, Tanner, is that L'Jarius Sneed could play outside corner better, in my opinion, than McDuffie provided. Whereas as a nickel, I think McDuffie, that's where he needs to be, and where he was at his best as a Chief was inside. Playing outside, to me, was a big downfall for his last couple of years as a Chief.
Yeah, so I mean, that's where I put Sneed at. I think Peters is there outside of his tackling. I think McDuffie definitely went in for a tackling blitz better as well than Peters. Flowers, of course, and I'd make a case here if I really wanted to. I really would make a case here for 2 other guys at some, I'd really have to break it down the numbers, but I honestly didn't mind Brandon Carr, the other side of Flowers there. I thought he was a great, as early in his career here with the Chiefs, of really being a guy that's opposite of Brandon Flowers and was really impactful. And Charvarius Ward, I thought too as well. So I really do feel like we had
guys you just mentioned had long careers. Carr played for a super long time. And then Charvarius Ward has played for a long time as well. So both those guys
still
were
going
over 10 years. So I mean, those guys have played a long, long time.
Where do we
put
Dale Carter on this list?
Yeah, Dale Carter to me as a Chief, he's easily top 5, but I think he's probably 3rd.
Okay.
I think he's right behind Albert Lewis personally. But I think Emmett Thomas, you could say, is number 1. Of course, as I say, I never watched a guy play. But I did get to experience a lot with Albert Lewis as a Chiefs historian. So I've done my due diligence on that. But Dale Carter played with James Hasty for a little time period there. And man, what a great tandem that was. And to me, James was one of my favorite Chiefs during that time period because he was a corner who we actually got when he was 30 years old, played till he was 34 with this team. And you don't see guys that age that well and can play that physical for that long like James Hasty did. And he was a playmaker. I mean, the guy was making picks. He was a big hitter, big physical cornerback, and could play outside. I mean, he would match up against your top guys. But so yeah, Dell would be my 3rd. Flowers would be my 5th. And people forget about Brandon Flowers because he played for the Chiefs during our worst time period in history of the organization. We only had 1 season worth of crap, which was 2010 with Brandon Flowers. But Brandon Flowers was 5'9", and he played almost strictly outside on the boundary and could cover just about everyone. The only receiver that was ever beating him consistently was Calvin Johnson. And that's no surprise. You got a 6'5" monster who is once in a generation, Hall of Fame got a guy. Of course, you're going to beat Brandon Flowers in that situation. Brandon Flowers did not miss tackles. Brandon Flowers' passer rating against in 2010 was 65, as a matter of fact. And his completion percentage allowed in his area was 51. Both of those numbers are lower than anything McDuffie's ever done in his time with the Chiefs. McDuffie's quarterback rating allowed in his area has been averaged around 90, as a matter of fact, which is not – it's not bad. It's not great either. It's kind of average. And completion percentage is around 60% in his area. So I just want to throw those numbers out there. And one difference also is Brandon Flowers did create turnovers. He ended up with 3 defensive touchdowns as a Chief, whereas McDuffie had never had one. So just some things to take into account. And like I said, this is not a trash McDuffie segment. We're just debating because I think there's a lot of fans online on Facebook and Twitter and so on who want to
prisoners of the moment, dude.
prisoners
Prisoners
of the
of the
moment who
moment.
feel like we just traded away our best corner of all time, or top 3 corner of all time, when that is not the case. McDuffie, I appreciate what he did for us, and he made an amazing play there in the Super Bowl to knock down a very important pass deflection there in a critical moment. And the guy was everything we wanted him to be on the field and off the field. So I appreciate him for that. But I don't want to forget the fact we've had some other incredible cornerbacks in this organization over the years, and they deserve to be recognized. And that's the entire.
That's what I was going to say too. Is like that's the reason why I brought up Dale Carter, is because like when I was growing up, like outside of Derek Thomas, like he was the second best player on those teams.
Yeah.
We had obviously Joe Montana there for a couple of years, but I felt like Dale Carter was the man. Like it was him and Derek Thomas on those teams. So
yeah, him and Derek, and I can't remember what year Neil left, but Neil Smith obviously was a big part of that as well. But yeah, Dale was huge during that time period. So him and, like I said, James came along. I think it was 95 when James Hasty became a Chief, and he'd been with a couple other teams before that, but his impact as a Chief was huge, and he led the league in interceptions one year, as a matter of fact, too. And another good point that I showed a little bit ago about Mark McMillan. He in one season he had 8 picks. I remember that year. And Mighty Mouse was tiny. The guy was like 5'7". So
he was. I met the guy in person when I was a kid.
I do value defensive players who create turnovers. And that leads me to something I'll talk about here in about the next 10 or 15 minutes, because there's a certain draft prospect we're going to bring up that is huge on that number. So anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about, because I wanted to push back a little bit against some of the narrative of the fans that are currently living in the moment, or fans that are new to the Kansas City Chiefs who came along in 2018 when Mahomes became starter and thought it was fun, and don't realize the history of the team, because we've had some great ones over the years at cornerback. So anyways.
Good stuff. Yep.
Anyways. Oh, by the way, one more quick stat I just want to throw out there just because it's fun. Albert Lewis holds the Chiefs record for most blocked punts in a career with 10. 10 blocked punts. You kidding me? A guy who was a starting cornerback who played a long-ass time in the league, also was your best special teamer during that time period. That's incredible. So anyways, that's a little fun fact for anyone out there that ever wants to do some random trivia. Albert Lewis was just an all-around playmaker. All right, guys. Well, anyways, NFL free agency is underway. We've gotten all kinds of drama. We got the Max Crosby drama, of course. I'm sure everyone's heard about by now. And now they're trying to say that they wanted both Hendrickson and Crosby was why they did what they did. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that. That's whatever. I want to talk about what the Chiefs have done so far. A couple days ago, we learned Kenneth Walker, now officially a Kansas City Chief, which makes him our best running back since Jamal Charles. And so, I don't really care right now about the contract numbers. What I care about is the fact the Chiefs seem to have a certified, bona fide number 1 running back again. So what do you guys think about this?
Let's go.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think that a lot of people would say, well, he's 25 years old. And that's a lot of times people will say, well, if you're 25 as a running back, you're over the hill. The dude doesn't have any freaking mileage, dude. He's got like barely over 1,000 total touches in his career. And so, the other thing that people look at is the fact that, well, he gets injured every once in a while. Well, so do all running backs, man. But at his current age and the lack of mileage that's on that body right now, I think it's perfect contract for the Chiefs. Now, I want to see them put somebody else in there. I don't want Kenneth Walker carrying the entire load, because that's not how you want to work that contract. But with the amount of mileage that he's got left, the amount of juice that he's got left on those legs, I freaking love it, man. And I think that with the thing that Brett Veach needs to do right now is just either draft another running back or get somebody else in there to take some of that load off of Kenneth Walker, because he's still got some tremendous juice on those legs.
Yeah, we finally have a running back that's capable of explosive plays. which is something we haven't had in quite a while now. Unfortunately, Pacheco the last 2 years has not been his previous self. And also, we have a guy who has great vision, patience, and the ability to break off a 50, 60-yard run, every once in a while. And so, to me, that's something to look forward to, man. That's something that I've been begging for a while and been frustrated with this team is like we're running Kareem Hunt out there with Pacheco, who is a ghost of his previous self. And we're wondering why we don't have success when teams don't respect the run game against Kansas City. Why would they? And so this is going to make the job easier for Patrick Mahomes. It's going to make play calling easier for Andy Reid or when Eric Bieniemy has input. I think all around this is a great move. Now, Tanner, you and I might agree on one thing. I think we probably wanted ETN actually over Walker because we had an idea maybe in our heads of having two running backs that would split carries 50-50 essentially, and then the other one being in the draft maybe. But what was your thoughts on Kenneth Walker and maybe why you wanted ETN?
Well, I want ETN because he proved it last year with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just think of what he could do here with the Chiefs, right? I wasn't like, no matter what, Love was off the board if we got one of these guys. Okay. I was not looking for another Travis Etienne type player to go with it. I wanted a full-time guy. The guy killed it last year. He finally showed up. He broke out last year, just like Kenneth Walker did. Okay. And that comes into play. So I wanted him because I thought Etienne was more of that passing, receiving style back, but also a guy that when he had to make a play, he could make a play. And not that saying Walker isn't. Walker is that same way, but that was my ETN thought process of kind of what he did last year and what he did his first year too. He had a little glimpse of it. Then he got hurt. And then, of course, he came back last year and was just he just dominated. Dominated for that team.
There is this narrative out there, by the way, that Kenneth Walker is not a good receiving back, and that's just not true.
That's bogus.
I don't really know where that narrative came from, but it's just not correct. And yes, ETN obviously is a really great receiving back. That was our idea. Was that like, hey, this guy can fill in what McKinnon did, plus run inside the tackles too, which is something McKinnon couldn't really do. Because we want that receiving back with the team again because it's so impactful. We know the impact McKinnon had on this roster, and we've dearly missed having a running back that can do that kind of stuff. Maybe Brashad Smith can become that. I'm not going to bank on that necessarily, but Kenneth Walker can catch passes. He's not some stone hands idiot out of the backfield, and so I just want to put that to rest on that whole thing.
Yeah, we look at here at his last 4 seasons, right? His rookie year, he played 15 games, 11 games started, 27 receptions, 165 yards, no touchdowns, 15 games played, the 23, and 29 receptions, 259 yards and a touchdown, 11 games played, cut short due to injury, 46 receptions, 299 yards and a touchdown. And this last year here, he had 31 receptions, 282. I didn't see any touchdown stats on this one, but who cares? You're talking about 30 receptions, 46 receptions, 29 receptions, 27 with yardage. That's what we're looking. That's all we're looking for. It really is.
Yep.
We don't need to go 500, 600, 800 yards as a running back receiving. Get the yards that matter. That's
I want
the whole
Patrick
point
to
of
be
it.
able to have a running back he can rely on to check it down to when he needs to, and also hit the screen game every once in a while, And I think Walker can do both those things. So when we saw that in the playoffs, we saw it in the Super Bowl. Walker was a huge impact in that Super Bowl, and so, anyways, hey, one little interesting thing, guys. I'm not saying he is Priest Holmes, but they're the exact same size. Priest Holmes was 5'9", 213 pounds. Kenneth Walker is 5'9", 212 pounds. So, very, very similar size. And I think both, in some ways, have similar playing ability because Priest was a really good receiving back as well. And, main thing with Priest is that he had patience and vision and the occasional burst once that big hole opened up, which I think Walker can provide.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, though? If you look at his stats here rushing-wise, outside of his 2024 shortened season, he didn't play 17 games at all till this last year, and he still almost ran for 2 of those years, 1,000 yards, 905 and 23, 1,050 in 22 his rookie year there. But it's just amazing how productive this guy actually was up in Seattle when they were still in the middle of figuring everything out. Right, O-line wasn't great. You're splitting carries with Charbonnet and some other guys right on their way out. So I don't know. I just find that kind of awesome to see. And he's averaging his rookie year, he averaged 4.6 this year, or this past year, he's averaged 4.6 per carry. Like, he's consistently in that area. So, which is great.
Well, that's the other thing I would say is that Seattle, all they wanted to do is just run him into the ground. Like when he first got there, they were a run first team, and they wanted to run him into the ground, just not give him, not give him any breaks. I think if you give a guy like that some breaks,
a punter,
and keep him fresh, dude, he's gonna freaking explode.
Yeah, a couple key points too that you brought up there, running into the ground, is that the Seahawks faced almost the most 7-man boxes in the league this past year. Basically, teams were stacking the box and begging Sam Darnold, "Hey, throw against me, throw against me." They kept feeding it to Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, and they were getting the job done. With the Chiefs, on the other hand, no team respects the run, so they've been light boxes. 6 guys in the box basically. This whole last year, we had the most amount of light boxes against us last year because no one cared about Pacheco and Kareem Hunt really. So it's like now it's like, okay, does that change? How does that help then Patrick to be able to hit balls downfield a little bit better? So it's going to open up a lot of things, but also we're not done. The running back position for this roster needs to be addressed still for one more pick, one more selection of a guy in the draft with those 9 picks we currently have. And I think that'll really, really set things up to be an awesome tandem of whoever that person is right now. And yeah, it's not going to be Jeremiah Love, obviously, but there's a lot of solid running backs in this draft class. We covered one a couple weeks ago, talked about Emmett Johnson, one that I do like. And so maybe that's the guy in the 4th round, maybe. We'll see. But anyways, I think that the running back position is not done. We need to have one more. And I'm personally not a big fan of the idea of bringing back Kareem Hunt just because I think it's time to move on. That chapter, in my opinion, needs to be closed. And although he was a terrific short yardage back, getting that 1 yard when you needed it, or at the goal line, getting that 1 yard at the goal line, I think there's other ways we can go about this to make it work.
What about Clyde? Does he have any juice left in the tank? Can he be the backup at some point?
You know what's funny? I was driving earlier and I was thinking to myself, like, what happened to Dameon Pierce? Is that guy still gonna?
Oh man,
sit around? Isn't he still on the practice squad?
I mean, as far as I understand, yeah,
dude.
But I was just like, well, wait a minute, Dameon Pierce is still here, right? So I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do with him. But
my gosh,
that's just one more name to add to the mix, I guess, and see what happens. But maybe it'll be a trading situation.
Let's see if Donnell Bennett is still available.
I would take Kimball Anders right now.
Kimball Anders, that's right.
All right, guys. Well, what did you think about the other two picks, or I should say free agent signings? Chiefs picking up Kyrus Tonga, defensive tackle. The contract itself, I was not a big fan of. Paying a guy $7 million a year who is going to be purely a run stopper, who does not get any pressure on quarterbacks. To me, I was really put off by that originally on that contract number. Now, this guy does have value. He's going to replace Mike Pennell, but you weren't paying Mike Pennell $7 million a year. So, anyways, what's your thoughts on Tonga? And then the one we saw, I think late last night. I think it was last night. Gilman, the safety. So, what are your thoughts on that, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, Tonga, like he's coming from an elite defense, a run stuffer, right? And sure, you can be mad about the $7 million, that you weren't paying Pennell, to kind of substitute. But this guy's younger. He's 29, comes back into the defense here, and it's still a position needed, right? He's better. He'll be better than what we had. Better than Noddy, better than Pennell, or anything else you put in there. You can't just have a bunch of pass rushers on that D line. You need some run stuffing guys, and this guy proved it last year as well. So having this guy come in, not just from any other team, but none other than Michael Vrabel style defense and the Patriots in the Super Bowl defense. Okay, this guy will make an impact. I'm very excited for him, especially at the age of 29, coming in and filling that what considered a nose tackle, right? Basically. of filling that gap there. So I love it for my run stuffer. And then safety wise, right? You can't pay everybody, but it sounds like our guy linebacker from the Chargers is very excited. Why am I blanking on his name?
What, Tranquil?
Thank you. Tranquil will say, hey, you guys are gonna like this kid. And he went into Baltimore last year after getting traded, and he made a little difference on that Ravens defense. Yes, they were bad, but he was a bright spot on that defense there, and I think he can fill in for kind of what we need right now for coverage, right? I mean, we obviously want to draft somebody, but this is a guy that provides a lot of depth and has been around a couple teams now with defenses and kind of seen, been able to make an impact. So I like both signings from both aspects of things.
From what I gathered, whenever I matched up Gilman's numbers with Brian Cook, we're getting a very similar production level from Gilman, from what Brian Cook was doing. Production-wise alone, they are extremely similar in the numbers. So I'm hoping that carries over. And it's Gilman's been around. He's a veteran. He's 29 years old. And, it's like a 2-year contract with 1 extra year built in. And the idea is that, like, hey, we need to have that veteran guy. I think, guys like Deion Bush are long gone at this point. It's a whole remodel there in a lot of ways in the secondary. And so that whether Gilman is a starter or whether he's a third safety, because that's an important piece of this team too, I'm not totally sure yet. Depends on how the rest of this offseason plays out. As long as Chamari Connor in some kind of way has moved out of the nickel and stops covering guys at the line of scrimmage, I think that's going to be a benefit to the team because we just can't have that as the game plan again, to have him cover in the slot and the nickel and so on. And the Chiefs have a lot to worry about with cornerbacks right now. So I'm hoping we can get that sorted out. And, brings me to another point here in a few minutes. But anyways,
I mean, there's a lot to it still. There's a lot of work.
Anyways, did you have any other comments on that, Jason?
No, I agree with you guys. Like, it just, to me, it was like none of that really moved the needle for me. I mean, I agree with you on the $7 million. That was a little bit steep for me on that. But it's not, it's not going to break the bank. So it's not going to be awful signing on that.
Yeah. Well, long ways to go too. We're only on literally day 1 of official free agency. So the new league year. So anyways, guys, do you have any other NFL free agency stuff you want to discuss, or should we talk draft?
I mean,
where the hell is
all
Kirk
sorts of
Cousins
things
go? Did Kirk Cousins
He
get
went to the
signed
Raiders.
yet?
He went to the Raiders.
No.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's a Raider.
Oh, that makes sense. That's Tom Brady's guy
happen?
right
When did
there.
that happen? I must have missed that.
Tom Brady loves that guy, man.
Today
He brings stability. Kirk Cousins brings stability into the locker room. Isn't that like your favorite thing to say after a free agent?
2 years. No, sorry. Hold on. Where is it?
Veteran leadership.
Veteran leadership, yeah.
I was talking to my Houston guy, and he was the one that was telling me about it.
Well, I hadn't seen that, or if I did, I ignored it. But
or maybe they're talking, or maybe it's not official yet. Okay, never mind.
I mean, he's going to be is he not going to be the starter over there?
Well,
no, Mendoza will be.
No, Cousins is going to be the starter.
No, what are you talking about? You're drafted #1 overall quarterback.
They're going to ruin his ass if they throw him out there immediately.
Well, that's what you get for being drafted #1 overall. Every time we talk about this.
Especially to the Raiders.
That's why you sit Aaron Rodgers for 2 freaking years behind Brett Favre.
Cousins would make sense to me because they would just use him as like a mentor, like basically like to make sure Mendoza's up to speed on like how to act as a.
You can't mentor him unless Cousins is going to be the starter, because then the guy's not going to respect you. Like that's the whole point of why these.
You're telling me Tom Brady,
all these guys get freaking ruined, is because you throw them in there. So you want to ruin Mendoza, Tanner? That's Tanner's playbook the whole time. You just throw them in there and ruin their ass.
I'm telling you what the Raiders are going to do. You asked me who's going to start. I told you who's going to start. I didn't say I agreed with it. I told you who's going to start. #1 overall pick, the Los Angeles Raiders.
I don't give a shit.
Vegas Raiders, whatever.
What else is going on that you care about that we need to talk about before we move on to the draft?
I don't give a shit who the Raiders are.
I think the Raiders had a great. Yeah, I know. I heard you.
You're good.
I think the Raiders had a great free agency right away. I think they made some impact moves, what they needed to do.
Handing them out to everybody.
They hit it at the actual players that are that will make an impact for them. So that's the big part. What do you guys think about Pacheco going to make the Montgomery role up there in Detroit?
I hope he plays well. I don't have an opinion other than I people like Leo Chenal, he's gone.
So sad.
Oh, those kind of those guys, everyone who left from the 2022 draft class that went to other teams now, I wish the best for them. I want them to have a successful
Sky Moore
career. Sky Moore already was left, so he's not part of what I'm discussing. I'm talking about
he's not part of that group anymore.
I'm talking about Jalen Watson, Leo Chenal, and Pacheco, and
we're talking about players that don't 100% suck. Maybe they only they're really good, or maybe they're only
well for San Francisco last year, So, and then he got
talking about guys who were still on the roster as of this past year that left in free agency, which is everybody.
I want to know if they took all of those Isaiah Pacheco statues down from living spaces, because I used to get drunk over there every once in a while. I saw his ass over there on those little statues.
I figured out Pacheco's problem. I had a coworker tell me that earlier this year he ran into him before a game, and he came up to him and took a picture with him and stuff, and he goes, man, he smelled like weed. Do they smoke weed before games? And I was like, well, a lot of them do, yeah.
Well, who was the Baltimore Ravens running back but when Priest Holmes was on the Chiefs?
Rice?
Jamal Lewis, yeah. That guy, they had to spell him all day long, dude, because everybody in the league knew that he was smoking weed. Yeah. But he was still breaking records in the NFL, and that's okay, man. You do what you got to do, man.
The single game rushing record at the time that he broke, that he was given 30 carries. And he said going into that game, okay, if you give me 30 carries, then I'm going to set some records. So he knew if he got 30 carries that day that it was going to be a big number, and he put up 295. And that ended up at the time breaking what was Corey Dillon's record at the time of 278.
Yeah.
And anyways, Jamal Lewis was an awesome back for a little bit.
If you go back and watch footage of Jamal Lewis, he would be huffing after first and second down.
Well, he was a big boy,
just sitting over there huffing and puffing. Well, he was a big boy, but the reason why I was huffing and puffing is because he's smoking weed before the games, dude. Yeah, everybody in the league knew that, dude. Everybody knew that.
It's a very common occurrence.
And now I'm not going to sit here and say there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that's what he was doing.
Jason, remember at the same time, Josh Gordon was getting hit with a bunch of suspensions, year-long suspensions here.
Well, Josh Gordon was a freak that just didn't know how to control himself, and that happens to the best of us.
Gordon could play high and drunk and put up huge numbers.
Oh yeah, massive.
That was sad.
What do you guys? What's your guys' thoughts on Geno returning to the Jets?
It's whatever.
So this will be the case study of. Can an NFL franchise ruin the same person twice?
Yes.
Two separate occasions. I don't actually know if that's possible. And
Does
I don't
it end
know
the same way?
I don't think it's happened in terms of quarterback. You're talking about
the
quarterback position. Has that ever happened before? Because this would be the case study if it happens again. I think they actually can ruin him. Again, because the Jets don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, they've never known what the hell they're doing.
35 or something like that. I mean, it's game over, man. It's just
does it end the same way? Does he end with a broken jaw on his way out?
Ooh, no. We need to bring back Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones to come in and give him a little punch.
Well, if we're talking about the Jets, can we just bring back as the backup to Geno Smith? Can we make it Vinny Salsaverde, Vinny Testaverde? Can we bring? Is he still alive, by the way? Is he 65 years old? We can bring him back, or maybe he's 70. I don't know. He could be the backup to Geno. Then they can ruin him too, because that's what the Jets do best. They ruin freaking players.
It's too late to ruin. He went to the Raiders where you already get ruined anyway. So
it's already done for you.
I will give you that.
Peak was in Seattle.
He's already been ruined, dude.
No, I'm saying he peaked in Seattle. It's only going to be a decline from there. That's all.
Well, now it's to the
man.
Jets, and it's a double tap. So that's exactly what it is. It's a double tap. But I don't know. That's all I have right now. There's so much more free agency moves we could talk about, but
So
those were a couple of the interesting ones.
All right, guys. We got to move along to our draft topic of the week. So as you guys know, up until the draft, I am picking at least 3 players every single week to kind of break down and showcase. And it could be for the bad or could be for the worse. But in this case, I mean, once again, I got some guys I do like today. And with the Chiefs having now pick number 29 at their helm, I have decided to make some adjustments on who I'm bringing up. Because there is a player here that's going to come second that is going to be probably available at that pick number 29. But first and foremost, now that the Chiefs have lost Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson, I got to bring up the number 1 cornerback in the draft class this year, which is Mansoor Delane from LSU, cornerback. He is 6 feet tall, 187 pounds. Man, I got some really, really fun stuff to talk about with him. So I spent quite a bit of time on research with this guy and watching, and he is about as sticky as you get in coverage that I've seen in a long, long time from a college corner. The guy doesn't give up anything. He doesn't make mistakes. It's pretty insane, actually, just how talented he is. Like, his number 1 drawback, in my opinion, is that he does have short arms. You know, he's got
30
short
inch
arms,
or 30. Yeah, 30 inch.
Yeah, it's like around 30-inch arms, which is fairly short, I would say. But with that said, it's not seem to matter. So few stats I want to break down with this guy, guys. So he gave up 13 catches in 2025 and a total of 7 first downs allowed. Also 0 penalties called against him this past season. So some of the notes I took while spending time on this guy. So fantastic mirroring wide receivers and man-to-man, breaks on the ball to deflect with excellent technique and timing. He's very smart in zone coverage as well, does a great job reading the quarterback's eyes and positioning himself to make a play on the ball while in zone. He's more than adequate to come up and tackle, whether that's a pass in the flats or the running back getting to the outside to his part of the field. He is a true outside cornerback, a guy that would replace Jalen Watson if he became a Chief. His best asset to me is outstanding technique and a high football IQ. So a couple more numbers to break down for you guys. His quarterback rating allowed when targeted was 56.2, which, if you guys don't realize, the lowest quarterback rating you can possibly have in the NFL is 39.2, I believe. It is the absolute lowest. It doesn't go lower than 39 in the NFL with the way that the quarterback rating system is structured. So 56.2, and that's with the NFL rating put in place. Also, 26.1 completion percentage allowed on throws to his area. 26% completion percentage allowed. Like, do you understand how insane that number, how low that number is? And like I said, and 0 touchdowns allowed, by the way, too. So not one single touchdown allowed this past year. A couple knocks, I guess. I mean, and this is being picky, but he could be a little more physical in both the press and coming up to hit. Sometimes his tackling is maybe not as physical as I would hope, but the guy's also 87 pounds. So I don't expect him to necessarily be up there with James Hasty knocking guys out, you know, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, the short arms are a little bit of a concern, and his long speed. He ran a 4.44 was his 40-yard dash time. So, which is adequate. It's not bad. It's also just like not elite. So, anyways, some awesome stuff from Mansoor Delane that I picked up on with spending some time watching him. And to me, he is a true bona fide certified cornerback 1 who is going to be along the lines of Derek Stingley. I think he could be that good. So that is my take on Mansoor Delane. So I don't know if you guys have spent time on him like I have, but if you have, let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think it's funny that we always come back to the short arms on this show. Like, I feel like it's a little bit overblown, but I do like the player. I agree with you on his high football IQ. I like his great reactive athleticism. And I just like the fact that the Chiefs could get a great physical presence on the outside. And that you can't go wrong with that. So
Yeah,
that's why I like him. I want a physical corner on our team.
This guy's reaction skills and football IQ is just off the charts. And these numbers that I put out there, guys, are going to translate very, very well. And the short arms be damned, in my opinion, on this one. You got a guy that had 0 penalties, 0 touchdowns allowed, quarterback rating of 56 and 26% completion percentage in his range. Come on, man. Sign me up. I'm not saying he's my pick at number 9. I'm just saying if we take that guy, don't be upset because that's a good thing for the future of this team. So, Tanner, what's your thoughts?
No, I think you nailed a lot of what I had here too. Right, he's kind of been between that 10 and 15 guy right now in most mocks for that, but he fits. He really does fit into a spag style defense, being aggressive. And you said he could be more aggressive. He still does well. And look at the competition level he played. SEC. That's all you need to know.
LSU.
Football. SEC. Going against elite receivers, elite
and
quarterbacks that are going to be drafted.
Played at Virginia Tech before that too. So he spent some time in both ACC and LSU. So
yeah. So I like the pick. I do. I really do.
Something Slam and Sammy brought up just to how well we develop cornerbacks. We can always find guys late in the draft. And he thinks maybe better to take. Let's see, what was he saying there? Better to take second.
We develop some. Better take the second best safety at 9 than the number 1 corner.
I don't know. Depends on if we add another corner in the free agency market, because as it stands right now, you got Fulton and you got Noah Williams as your 2 corners, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to be excited about at the moment, I guess, unless it's got like real big hype for what was that? Is it Keys? The other corner. Knowles. Kevin Knowles, right? So yeah. if you for some reason have a huge hard on for Knowles, then I guess that makes a difference. But no, to me, it's like this is a bona fide number 1 cornerback who, to me, looks the part, acts the part, and has everything you want in a guy like that. So to me, he's going to be a really, really great player in this league, and he's been great for the last 3 years of college ball. So it's not anything new or anything. This guy's been consistent throughout. So,
yeah, no, I don't hate it.
All right, guys. I'm going to go to the next guy.
Let's do it.
All right, next one on my list. This guy I'm not as excited about, actually. I'm not going to sit here and say that like I brought him up because I really enjoyed his tape, but I did bring him up because was it Sammy who talked about Peter Woods at one point on this show, or brought him up like a month ago? When I spent time watching Peter Woods, I could not focus on Peter Woods as much because I was so distracted by TJ Parker, defensive end from Clemson, was actually the guy that I picked up on the most throughout that process because Peter Woods' tape is insanely boring to me. But TJ Parker is our guy I want to highlight here. Comes in at 6'3", 260 pounds. He had 6 forced fumbles in 2024. He's got long arms, to me, great hands at the point of attack, plenty of length or strength to walk back tackles back into the quarterback. Does a really nice job setting the edge against the run. He's not going to be your speed rush outside guy just to like beat a tackle off the edge. It's not that style. I think that he has some speed to do that, but against elite tackles in the NFL, that's not going to probably happen that way. He needs to work on his pass rush moves, is what I kind of picked up on, and setting up linemen with his footwork and hands. But his long arms, to me, leave a lot of room for development in that area. To me, he is a guy who has upside similar to Bradley Chubb, and they play in a very similar manner as far as style of play. So I think you have a guy who can be a good run defender, set the edge very well, big enough to do that kind of stuff. He's going to be a good balance of stopping the run, also getting pressure on the quarterback. He had, I believe it was 12 sacks in 2024, and then down to, I think it was 5.5 this past season in 2025 at Clemson. So interesting prospect to me. I like the size, and I like the fact he can do a little bit of everything. But he is a pure 4-3 defensive end who needs to just be a guy that just plays with his hand in the dirt and just goes about it that way. So that's my take on TJ Parker. So any thoughts on him, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, power, right? That's something we don't have on the other side. We got a guy that has high effort, high motor, but this guy has power, right? And yeah, I've seen that. I've seen 20s to early 40s on some drafts, some mocks for that. So like he kind of goes all over the place, but he is ranked top 5, top 6. I'm on defensive. I'm on edges, right? Ends for the strong athletic score. Athletic score, man. This guy, you know, he didn't have the best, I guess, stat like his height and all that stats. I mean, 6'3", 6'4". I like that.
Yeah, I can't remember his combine, but I think he was like 6'3", 265. He ran a 4.68, which is not bad. I mean, his
split was 1.61
in the first, early second. You know.
Yeah, I look. If you're telling me I can get an edge like this, a power piece, that he might not be. If we can work him in, right? If we can have a guy rotate along with Chris Jones on the outside time to time, like be able to kind of make that work with Karlaftis on one side and have a power piece, something to complement the other side. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at 29.
He would be a major upgrade from Mike Dana and some of the fools we've had along the years. And not to bag on Mike Dana because he had a decent Chiefs career here, but this would be a major upgrade at the end on the opposite side of George Karlaftis, without a doubt.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. Jason, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, he's fine for me. I mean, I like the fact that he's got great lateral movement for his size, good smooth change of direction. But it kind of just depends on where you get him for me. Like Tanner, you mentioned that he could drop all the way to 40. Like I wouldn't hate that.
That'd be tough.
Insane, actually.
Like I'm not gonna spend like a late first, early second.
I feel like 29 would be a range where he would fall to. It would make sense.
I wouldn't spend that pick on him. I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, I think my thing is that we need to have another D end on this team.
You got to have a sure thing.
I can't be upset if he is the pick at 29 because it makes sense from a need point of view, and he'd be an upgrade over what we currently have.
Yeah, I just think for me at defensive end, you need to have a guy that's more of a sure thing. I mean, you're only going to have Patrick Mahomes for so much longer, and I don't like to punch as many lottery tickets with some of these guys that you're just not sure about.
Hey, like I said, to me, the way he plays is very similar to Bradley Chubb, and so if I asked you guys
Chubb
right
just
now,
had a big deal with Buffalo.
He did. And Chubb has been around a long time and been a very good player. If I told you right now you could get Bradley Chubb at 29, we're going to take it.
Yes, you would.
So to me, like I can accept that, if that's what we end up doing at 29, and I wouldn't be upset about it by any means. So, anyways, that's the guy. So the reason I brought him up to begin with is like I couldn't believe when I was watching Peter Woods a month ago, and I was so distracted by TJ Parker, and I didn't really know who he was at the time. Honestly, I didn't spend a lot of time previously on TJ Parker before that, and so I was like, this guy's kind of standing out in a game tape that I'm not intentionally watching of. So, anyways, that is my little key on him. All right, guys. Well, I have one more. You guys ready for the most fun one of the night? I think it's the most fun.
I thought he was boring.
This guy over here thinks that any linebacker is boring.
Sucks.
But I have some news for him to change his mind on that. So let's talk about Jacob Rodriguez. I'm wearing let me move this mic, my Texas Tech T-shirt, by the way, for this intentionally, just so I could talk about Jacob Rodriguez for a second. So this guy basically is just a flat-out playmaker, terrific ball skills and coverage, knows how to attack the football, and has great instincts. He comes in at about 6'1", 235 pounds. And he actually started off as a quarterback at Virginia. He played quarterback, a little bit of running back, and tight end even at Virginia his freshman season in 2021. So he is a little older. This season in NFL years, he will turn 24, actually. So he transferred to Texas Tech, and he ended up with 24 total turnovers to his name, whether that was an interception, fumble recovery, forced fumble. He led the NCAA with 7 forced fumbles in 2025. He's quick to react versus the run and understands angles well, At times gets a little too careless with his tackling, a little sloppy. It's something he can still work on, guys. Keep in mind, like I said, he was a quarterback just 4 years ago. So that's something you can work on. I think sometimes when the offensive linemen get to the second level on him, he has a hard time disengaging. But he's really effective in zone coverage. The guy, we talk about Travis Kelce and his experience as a quarterback previously, and how that helps him understand reading defenses as a position player, right? And so the same kind of thing can be said for guys like this, like Rodriguez, who spend time playing quarterback, who can actually understand, route concepts and route recognition, and you'll know where to align themselves within their zone to make a play on the ball, and that's what he does the best. So to me, that's something that's super important. Excellent sideline to sideline speed. He ran a 4.57 at the combine, so adequate speed. Not going to blow you out of the water on that, but he's quick. He's not going to offer much from a pass rush standpoint, but if he's in a role similar to how Drew Tranquil is used, he will thrive at this level. He can get caught biting a little bit on play action, a little too much, something to work on, but the instincts and playmaking ability are all there to be great at the NFL level. His wife, by the way, is a Black Hawk fighter pilot. So to me, I think there's a little bit of a Tasmanian devil kind of a character with Jacob Rodriguez. I think he's just going to be one of those guys that is just going to be at times hit or miss, but more often than not, when he makes a play as a playmaker, whether it's a turnover or a big hit or whatever it may be, you're going to forgive some of those missed tackles over time because you're going to see what an impact he makes in other ways on the field. And he's going to create turnovers, which is something the Chiefs have not been good at over the last 5-6 years, in my opinion. So anyways, this guy I think is going to be great. He's going to be a guy that can play a nickel. He's going to play in a 4-3 defense and be outstanding. So, but yeah, Sammy just brought up a point. At 29, I agree, too early for this guy, mainly because you got some size things to worry about. You've got the youth of the position. He's still new to the linebacker position, and he's probably going to be more that mid to late second round pick. And so I'm not going to say even take him at 40, but say we trade back, which is something the Chiefs have done in the past, and pick later in the second round. If Rodriguez is still there, it would be an excellent fit for this team. And so anyways, he's a really fun prospect. I don't know that the Chiefs are going to get him. I think the Chiefs are probably going to look in other directions. But anyways, that is my breakdown from my experience doing study on Jacob Rodriguez. The guy is a lot of fun to watch on film. That's all. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that he's got really good hands to get interceptions.
Fantastic.
Like you were saying on the turnover issue, and I think he's got really good instincts against the run. For me, I don't want to take linebackers, period. If you're telling me he's going to be there late second round, absolutely. Give me the best football player on the board. I don't care what position he plays. But as for the linebacker position, I don't want to be doing that stuff, and not even in the early second round, man. I want to get premium positions for this team, and that's why I say if he falls, then yeah, fine, take him. But the linebacker is not something that I'm looking for.
In some ways, this might be a little bit of a stretch. He reminds me a little bit of like the linebacker version of Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu was a freaking playmaking machine at LSU. And just what he did, and it translated over to the pro game as well. And the main thing was, Mathieu could get beat at time. Mathieu was also 5'9". I mean, he was undersized for his position, but the guy was a playmaker, right? And so for me, when I look at a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, I just see a playmaker. I see a guy who loves the game, who understands the game, can see things from a quarterback's perspective, which to me is extremely important. And knowledgeable when it comes to high football IQ, and I think he's gonna be a guy. If you have him on your roster, I mean, you can count on this guy to be a guy that makes random plays to win you games, and that's how I see this kind of guy.
Slavin Sammy says he's fine with starting Bossa, but he's probably gonna be starting in Chanel's spot.
Well,
depending, I guess, what we make.
Hey, I like Bossa too. I like Bossa too, man. I would have been nice if we'd seen more of him last year. But then again, I wasn't the one calling the shots on that.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you guys here. I do like him from a pick 40 and after kind of guy. I like the fact that he was that quarterback. Like he has the offensive mentality. This guy's a buckets award winner too. Turnover machine. This guy knows, kind of knows how the routes happen and where they're going to be looking. So athletic score. He's top 4 in the linebackers. He's a good hit. If you can get him around that 40 mark, he's a good hit. And I think he can make an impact, especially the unknown of Drew Tranquil. I keep still hearing, how about those Chiefs talk about like that guy could still be a cap casualty in the end to free up some space. So we still don't know if Drew's going to be around or not. And then speaking of Tyron, just thoughts up to him, man. His dad passed away today. So, just as you mentioned him, thought about that. So, but yeah, I think from this guy here, I'd like him. I'd be more excited to have him late day 2 for sure. If not day 3, I'd be really ecstatic.
Ooh, day 3 is not going that far, man.
I know. I mean, you never know what happens, but I think day 2.
Put it this way: the Chiefs take him at pick 40. I'm not going to be upset because I know we're getting a playmaker. I know we're getting a guy who understands football, and I know we're getting a guy who is a badass. To me, he is the Tasmanian devil of linebackers, and he's not going to be a guy, like I said, if you put him in the same role as Tranquil, you're going to get Tranquil production, in my opinion, but with more turnover ability. So I think the upside to me is greater than what Tranquil's provided personally.
Allow Nick Bolton to be Nick Bolton. Take care of the coverage with these guys that you have.
Well, so a coverage linebacker, you mean if we had Bossa and Rodriguez, 2 guys who can both cover? That's what Bossa did well, as a coverage linebacker.
And allow Bolton be Bolton?
Right, which is the downhill run-stopping linebacker, and that's it.
Get out of here. So, we don't do that.
I'm cool with all of that. So I would love that. I think that would be awesome if we could, get a linebacker group like that. But
Rodriguez is like the water boy, man.
Yeah, he's like the water boy.
Remember the water boy?
Oh, yeah. He's like the water boy.
He was a football player.
Yeah.
No, man. Rodriguez to me is from the replacements, the guard, security guard, the linebacker. The guy that's Danny, give me the ball. Give me the ball. How do I get you the ball?
Yeah. No, he's going to be interesting to see how he translates to the next level. But like I said, there's a couple flaws, of course. His tackling, 100% needs to be worked on. He at times gets a little too careless and reckless and needs to wrap up better. At times he wants to lay the big hit, but you got to wrap and tackle. And I think that maybe something that
like me and Madden, man. It sounds like me and Madden, just stick all day. All day.
If he can mature as a player or linebacker, he can be great. But like I said, he was a quarterback just 4 years ago. So sometimes it takes a little time to get it together to realize you should probably use your arms when you tackle and not just lay people out. And like I said, he also played running back and tight end as well. So he's got a lot of experience on offense. So when Texas Tech actually ran the Wildcat a few times, he was the Wildcat receiver. So they would say, okay, we don't care you play defense. You're the Wildcat guy. You're going to take a direct snap, and you're going to go get us a yard. And so, hey, fun idea. Tonga played fullback, right, at times, Tanner? So I'm sure you've seen that, right? Tonga played some fullback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got a fullback there. We could do a direct snap Wildcat to Rodriguez. You want your 1 yard?
Don't put that out there, man.
You want your Kareem Hunt 1 yard? There's your 1 yard. God damn it.
Yeah, if Andy hears that shit, he's gonna load up.
I'd love to.
And Chris Jones would be jealous.
Give that idea to Andy Reid.
Andy loves
Chris Jones wants to be on the offense so bad. He'd be so jealous. Tonga got it before
for that idea.
Yeah, he totally would. Yeah, he loves the trick plays.
Yeah. Anyways, yep. Here's the thing with so it sounds like a Sam, not a Will. He played all over the place. He was inside, he was a Sam, he was the Will. He played everywhere at Texas Tech. So just kind of a madman of a linebacker. And I'm excited to see where he ends up. Even if it's not the Chiefs, I'll be curious to see how that guy pans out because he needs to be a lot of fun to watch. And he'll be a guy that creates turnovers. You don't create 24 turnovers by accident in 3 years. He had 4 interceptions, by the way, this last season as a linebacker, which you shouldn't do as a linebacker. That tells you how good he was. So, anyways, guys, those are my 3 draft prospects that I wanted to break down a little bit this week, and I'll have at least 3 more in 2 weeks when we come back again. So, anyways, Tanner, and if you want to bring some more, Tanner, if you got somebody in mind, man, bring them to the table. I want to hear about them.
If I come across somebody, I haven't had time as much as I was hoping for this draft season to do what I wanted. So, but if I come across somebody, don't you worry. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, I'm always open to hearing about guys, and it makes me want to spend more time on certain prospects too whenever I hear about them, because why the hell not? So
Right.
anyways,
Yeah.
Well, that's my football for the day. I know we're an hour into this. So what else do you guys have to talk about? God damn it. Okay, there was big news as of yesterday?
Big news.
Mr. Bam Adebayo. Did he do it yesterday? Was it yesterday, or did I?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was last night.
Last night or yesterday during the day.
Putting up 83.
Last night.
84? Was it 83 or 84?
I think it was 83.
83.
80
Now, here's the thing. At halftime, was it 49 at halftime?
at 43, I believe.
3.
Okay. But the end of the first quarter was a record. Most points scored in one quarter at 31.
Mm-hmm.
In the first quarter at 31, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about all these games. Like, people like to compare him to the Kobe 81 points, to the Wilt Chamberlain 100 points. The bottom line, guys, is like there is no comparison, because in all 3 of those games, and I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I have footage of the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game, but the bottom line is in all 3 of these games, nobody was playing defense. Kobe Bryant did his 81 against the Raptors. And I don't even want to know who Wilt Chamberlain did his 100 points against. When you have these teams that don't like to play defense, and they're going to happen, man. It's just, some people think it's an anomaly, but every once in a while you're going to have these teams that just are really bad defensively. And it's not that I'm taking anything away from Bam, because I would never take anything away from Kobe or Wilt Chamberlain. Those guys all 3 of them were superstars. I mean, Bam Adebayo to a lesser extent, but Bam Adebayo has been in multiple All-Star games, so it's not like he's some scrub. Like, he's an All-Star player. But the common denominator in all 3 of these situations is that at some point in time, you're going to come up against a team who really doesn't feel like playing defense, and that's what happened here. But anyway, props to Bam Adebayo. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment. And, I mean, you can sit here and say, yeah, there's no defense in the NBA, and that's probably true. But, Kobe did it. Wilt did it. A couple other guys, have had 70-point games and whatnot. It's an awesome accomplishment. If you can do that in the NBA, it's just freaking amazing, no matter what team you're playing against.
Yeah, so some of the
It
talk
really
today on the
is.
radio, guys. So Kobe Bryant had 81, right?
Yep.
And so is 83 the second most all time after
Yes.
Wilt?
After Wilt.
Okay. So some of the topic, I guess, from what I read online, was people comparing it to other sports. Like, what would it be like what would this equate to, I guess, from a different perspective?
Ooh, that's tough.
To like come up with like a player did this X amount of numbered yards or whatever it may be in a single game.
Man, I'd say maybe if Barry Sanders had 250 yards and 5 touchdowns.
But the difference, I guess, would be Barry Sanders is maybe a top 5 running back ever. And so,
but then you're talking about Wilt and Kobe, who, in my opinion, those guys are top 10 players of all time.
I know, but like for Bam Adebayo, he's a above average player, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, he's made multiple All-Star games, but he's not like a top 10.
Would this be like? Let me say this. Would this be like a Amon-Ra St. Brown receiving for 312 yards in a game?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Which is just under the actual all-time number 1 game record. Like Amon-Ra going for 300 yards.
And keep in mind too that what Wilt Chamberlain did back in the day was that was when the 3-point shot didn't even exist.
Right.
So Bam made some threes. Kobe obviously made some threes when he scored 81. So the fact that Wilt Chamberlain, as a superstar of his era and a top 10 player of all time, did that with no 3-pointers, that's just you can't even compare the Kobe Bryant game or the Bam Adebayo game to what Wilt did, because Wilt did it all with 2-pointers and nobody could stop
if
him.
you ask Carrington Harrison on the radio, that Wilt game is a facade. It never existed.
It never happened.
According to him, it never happened.
Yeah.
Carrington has problems.
No footage of it means it never happened.
So that goes back to our earlier point about today's generation on the fact that all they know how to do is be a prisoner of the moment. They can't see past 5 days ago, 10 days ago, a year ago. Like if it didn't happen in the last 90 days, then it doesn't exist. Like he didn't care.
Yeah,
that's pretty sad.
That was his perspective.
That's extremely sad to have that perspective. Like I feel sorry for people like that, because you should at least, especially if you're a sports commentator, like all three of us are, you should at least have the decency to respect the game and the sport. That's why I brought up the fact that the Chiefs were founded in 1959, inaugural year in 1960. If you don't have the wherewithal to respect a guy like Wilt Chamberlain doing what he did with no 3-point shot, then you don't deserve to have a job in the world of journalism or sports commentating.
Yeah. I like that input. Tanner. All right, Tanner, go ahead. What's your thoughts?
By the way, this could be closer viewed as maybe Nick Foles against the Raiders when he threw for 7, tying him for the eighth quarterback to throw for 7.
Oh, before he got the big contract? Was that the one?
Eagles, November 3rd, 2013, against Oakland Raiders at Oakland.
But it was like week 17 or something?
No, November 3rd.
Oh, okay. Middle of the year. Huh.
That would have been early on.
He threw 7 touchdowns.
7 touchdowns, 22 for 28, 406 yards, no interceptions.
Yeah.
But
okay.
The only difference, like there's that, and then there's Peyton Manning's number, right? With his 7, which is Wilt Chamberlain in that aspect.
Well, Peyton, but that's different. The point is like an above average player who puts up a historically great number, and where you would rank that, or how the comparison would be, I guess, what Bam Adebayo did last night.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that'd be my comparison for your NFL.
The one I brought up that I think is probably not accurate, because I don't know how to gauge Bam Adebayo because I'm not an NBA guy, but I said Jerome Harrison rushed for 286 yards against the Chiefs in 2009. And so that was my comparison, because you had what I considered to be just a random running back at the time who almost set the single game record against the Chiefs that season in that game. But maybe that's a bad comparison.
I think Tanner brought up a guy earlier, in Josh Gordon. Maybe not in one game, but of what he was able to do over the course of a season.
Yeah.
At this point, he's just a random guy. I mean, obviously, he was playing at a Pro Bowl caliber.
I did hear one comparison. Matt Schaub threw for like 530 something yards in a game.
Yeah. Wasn't there?
Maybe that's the best comparison.
Wait,
Tanner.
wasn't
Matt
there?
Schaub throwing for 530 yards.
I can't.
Bam's better than Matt Schaub was.
No, I guess like Bam Adebayo was an all-star. So wasn't there a guy? Who was the guy named Matty Flint? Wasn't there a quarterback by the name of Matty Flint?
The Flint?
A bajillion touchdowns in a game.
He did that in the last week of the season and then got a big contract.
But these guys are bums. Bam Adebayo is way on a different level than these bums that you're talking about.
That's what I was saying. Nick Foles would probably be my comparison. So
yeah, Nick Foles was a bummer.
So I want to break this down real quick, right? So Bam's stat line last night: 20 for 43 in field goal, 7 for 22 in 3-point land, 36 for 43 from free throw percentage, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks in 42 minutes. Okay,
how many free throws, Tanner?
40.
36 for 43.
What the hell?
36 free throws.
36 free throws?
He made 36 out of 43.
Left and right. But I mean, he's a big. He's a big. When you're at a big, you're going to call fouls. I'm sure Wilt probably had a lot of fouls called in his favor in that game.
So I got his stat line. By the way, that was against the New York Knicks. back in 62 that he did it. And this was actually on March 2nd of 1962. So just, 9 days ago? So for that would have been a year. So his stat line, he was 36 of 63 from the field, 28 of 32 from free throw line. He had 25 boards and 2 assists in 48 minutes. So overall, I think Wilt put together the better package than Bam, but still very impressive to have that period.
Yeah, but apparently no footage, Tanner. No footage. Didn't count. Didn't happen.
Oh, for Wilt.
Yeah, for Wilt.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It was a Fugazi.
That's
a Fugazi.
That's what they say on the radio.
It's a Wazi. It's a Woozy.
So now, we all were around enough, obviously, to watch Kobe put up 81, and then Bam put up 83.
That was a horrible Raptors defense. Oh,
but so then, what I ask you guys being more NBA knowledge than I am, so which number do you think is better between the two, considering all factors?
I would say Kobe's is a little bit better, but it has nothing to do with his career. I mean, his career was defined not by the 81-point game, but by his championships. I just think these are anomalies when you go up against teams that don't really want to play defense. I guess you would say I'd give more credit to Kobe since he was a guard, whereas Bam Adebayo is a big man. He's going to get more fouls called on him, maybe sent to the free throw line a little bit more often, but Kobe's also a slasher. He should have been getting sent to the line in that game as well. It's just kind of an anomaly, but I'd give Kobe a slight edge in terms of his accomplishment in that game. Because believe it or not, there was a little bit more defense played back in, I think that was Tanner, 2006 when Kobe did that. You still had
for this game, it was 06. Yep.
Yeah.
06.
So, I mean, the league as a whole had more defense back then, but I'm telling you that Raptors defense in that game was atrocious. And so it's very difficult to compare the two. It's probably equal if you want to know the truth, but I mean, to be able to shoot 36 free throws is insane.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I would say in terms of
Kobe above Bam.
I'd say in terms of the skill set, Bam had a better accomplishment because Kobe was a top 10 player of all time, maybe top 5. And so Bam actually did more with less. He accomplished more based on his skill set compared to what Kobe Bryant had in his toolbox.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. That was kind of
wasn't that towards the end of Kobe's career?
Yes.
He put up the 81. Yeah, so how would that be more?
I wasn't towards the end.
No, it was towards the end.
06? 2006?
Yes.
Yeah, that was towards his end of his career.
That was towards the end. He was doing ice packs that year on the freaking sideline.
Yeah.
By the way,
I lose track of how long he was out of the league.
So I gave you guys Bam's numbers, right? Kobe's numbers for that game in 06 was a 28. He was 28 for 46, 60.9% field goal percentage, highest among everybody. 7 for 13 and 3-point, 18 for 20 in free throw. So he wasn't spammed at the free throw line like Bam and Wilt.
Yeah.
He had 6 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. But the thing that makes it different than Bam is he erased with 55 points in the second half, erased an 18-point deficit in that game to score to 81. He had 55 points in the second half alone.
Oh, so you're saying almost opposite.
That makes
Bam did, because Bam started off.
Bam played against the damn Wizards, who had the youngest lineup at one point ever in the NBA.
Like Bam cooled off in the fourth quarter, basically, from what I've gathered.
He had 52 in the second half. Bam had 52 in the second half, 31 in the first quarter, 43 by half, 62 by third quarter.
So Kobe was putting up most of his numbers in the second half when it mattered.
Yeah, you guys are full of shit.
And he erased the deficit for the win.
Stuff, by the way.
What was it?
He came into the league in 97. So he was fucking 9 years in the league. He came into the league when he was 18 years old. So when he
Okay.
would have been like 27, maybe 27,
what?
28 years old.
I think what we're confusing right now is the fact that Kobe put up 60 at the end of his career.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what it is.
We're confusing the 60 with the 81.
Yes.
And that's what's going on.
No,
That's
he was
what it
full on
is.
at his prime. He was at the
Okay.
prime of his career, which
Yeah.
and so is Bam. I mean, Bam's in his prime right now.
Yeah. I mean, one had to come back from a deficit in the second half. One didn't. Almost 20 points down. So I still think Kobe higher is above Bam from that standpoint.
Yeah. Well, it's
Oh, Will
interesting.
outdoes them all.
Shoot. Also, man, you got to think about today's NBA, man. Points are a galore. And it's just every damn game feels like it's going to score
Now
250 or 275 total.
Let's think about this. You brought up Carrington on the fact that he pretends that Wilt never existed. Is that because Carrington's an anti-KU fan? Like he hates KU?
It's good. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I didn't really take that
I
into
don't think
consideration.
every time I listen to him, I don't think he actually, he's not a KU fan, but he doesn't spew the
Mizzou.
hate.
No, he's
Yeah,
a
but he doesn't
Mizzou
spew the
fan
hate.
by far.
Mizzou fan. But
I'll give him
he
that. He
really
doesn't spew the hate.
tracks anything with Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. He says it never existed.
Yeah, that's an anti.
He goes.
That's an
In
anti-KU
fact, his
thing.
reasoning is we have.
I think it's
footage
just
that
I
to
think it's
the
just
moon.
a Carrington.
1969. There's footage of that, right? But the fact there's no footage of Wilt's 100-point game, and it's just hearsay.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He says that's why it never happened. It doesn't exist. That's according
It
to
sounds
that.
surprising.
That's he just hates KU, man. Like I don't give him credit for his opinion on that. He's a KU hater, man.
I don't have much of an opinion other than I do think Wilt scored 100. I don't think it's that.
It happened. There's stats, everything.
I don't think it's that impossible. In his
Fans
mind, he also
stormed
brought
the
up
court. They had to stop the game.
that if they could make up a story that Wilt scored 100 points in a game, that it would help attract more fans to the sport.
Well,
Was one of his ideas too.
He sounds like the type of guy that's going to wait until all the eyewitnesses from that 100-point game are dead, and then he's going to come out and say, "Well, there's no evidence. Nobody saw it. They're all in the fucking grave."
Well, there's no evidence of Jeffrey Epstein doing anything to little kids either. So I guess that never happened
A little
either.
like it never
It's
happened,
all
man.
hearsay. Epstein Island, clean as day. No footage that I've seen, so it doesn't count.
I don't know, man. Let's get off of that topic, man. It's ridiculous.
Anyways, I don't know, guys. What else do you have to talk about today? I think before we get out of here, it's a long ass show. God damn it!
I don't have nothing else.
Yeah, we're gonna save the NBA MVP talk for a little bit later because it's a little too obvious at this point.
We're gonna have more.
Yeah, I mean,
in a couple weeks for more NBA.
Joker has this in the bag.
This week.
so.
Free agency starting it. We had to talk Chiefs and
Yeah, he
football
says
more.
Joker's got it in the bag.
He already has 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals, and 6 points already.
But if you go to Polymarket, SGA is the overwhelming favorite
I'll
to
tell you
win
this.
MVP.
The Joker is probably my favorite player to watch that I've ever watched play basketball. I'm not
He's
gonna lie.
awesome, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even like a Nuggets fan
The
or
dude
anything.
can't
but
do anything
he
wrong.
Has me addicted
he can't
to watching
do
the
anything
Nuggets.
wrong, man.
I've been watching that guy now for a few years, but
Could you imagine
he's
him?
awesome.
Could you imagine him and Booker on the same
well,
team?
those are my two favorite players. My favorite player,
That'd be
my favorite
wild,
player is
man.
Devin Booker. My
That'd
second
be
favorite is
freaking
the
wild.
Joker. And any game he's playing, man, I'll put it on just to watch him play. I just love watching him play, and it's too fun.
What if you put Joker and Wemby on the same team and Joker was the 1B option? That'd be hilarious, dude.
That'd be
But
wild.
don't even show up to the game, dude. Just give him the freaking trophy at that point.
Jeez. Yeah, it's a wild one. All right. Well, I guess we should get out of here then. It's about that time. A little later than normal, obviously, for our other shows. So we'll come back with 3 more draft prospects in a couple weeks, and then see what else the Chiefs have done in free agency.
We got 4 more
just began.
months. 4 more months, boys, till the easy money bets start
Ooh,
over again.
yeah,
I'll
that's a
give
good
you
point.
some. I'll give you boys something to look forward to. You got 4 more months.
Yeah, somebody's been going to the
Easy
casinos
money
again.
bet comes back, and then you can win. You can win all these. Win all these bees over here. All these Benjamins.
All right. Well, Tanner's not paying attention, but I'm just going to say it. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you all for hanging out with us and chatting with us along the way, too, about the draft and everything else. And we'll be back. If you guys have prospects you want us to talk about or do a breakdown on, let us know in the comments. Like, send us a comment after the show goes off live or whatever. I don't care. And I'd love to spend time on somebody. So, anyways, guys, with that said, I will see you all on the next one.
Outro.
Rod Chalk, baby.